Toon Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking all about Shenmue. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you know about Shenmue, maybe you don't. Maybe you played it on your Dreamcast.
Hey.
Oh boy, the Dreamcast times are coming. Or maybe you've played a more recent version on a more recent PC or console, or however you play it. But it was a Dreamcast classic. However, there is also now an animated series. So let me tell you a bit about it. It's also known as Shenmue the Animation. It's a Japanese anime television series animated by Telecom Animation Film, based in the Shenmue game series by Yu Suzuki and published by Sega. Sega. The anime is a co-production between Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. The second collab that we've watched. We watched Blade Runner Black Lotus, which was not so successful here on Toon Jam.
No.
So let's hope that we have better luck this time. It premiered on February the 6th, 2022. A Japanese television broadcast will follow in April 2022. So pretty fresh stuff. According to producer Yu Kiyozono, the anime was in development for around 2 to 3 years during the time Shenmue 3 was produced and released. Kiyozono also stated that the production crew went to Yokosuka to get an accurate feel of the city's streets and atmosphere. The anime will see most of the core Japanese voice actors return from the video games, although some of the cast will include new voice actors to appeal to the game's younger fan base. Producer Joseph Chu said that Suzuki was heavily involved in the production to plan out the narrative with backstory information that was never implemented in the games. Sakurai added that some free roaming aspects were included, with Ryo talking to people in the streets. On October 8th, 2021, Shenmue's first official trailer was revealed at New York Comic Con, and then the show was later released. So there we go, Shenmue. I mean, excitement.
Yeah.
Is Shenmue. Did you play Shenmue?
I did. I didn't have a Dreamcast, but my friend had a Dreamcast, and I thought it was a mind-blowing console to me. I really thought it had a real magical feel to it.
Definitely. Something
about the shape of the controller, like the fact that there was a cartridge that went in it that had a screen that blew me like I just couldn't handle my excitement for that. And then the level of it seemed like a real leap in quality from this generation. Like I really loved the graphics and the type of games that he was playing on Dreamcast. So I did get to.
It was almost its problem was that it sort of came out in between generations.
Yeah.
So it was like the good thing about it, almost, I don't know, put it down.
Yeah, I don't think we then appreciated it really as when the others came out and stuff like so.
Yeah,
it's
which is a shame. Everyone that had one remembers it with such fondness.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think that it did so poorly that's why Sega stopped making consoles.
It's upsetting. It was my favorite, console at the time.
Right. Yeah.
It was, amazing.
Really.
I think because the games were all different on it as well.
Yeah.
And because it had those middle games that just went on the other consoles and stuff.
Yeah, something that still is like when I remember it, it's still very much got like a man. This is so wild. This console is still really good. But so my friend did have Shenmue at one point, so I did get to dabble in a bit of it. Did play a few levels and mainly watched them play it because that's how we did it back in the day. Although that's come back now full force. Like Twitch.
I mean, now you don't have to leave your house to watch your mate play on his computer, which just, I mean, call us old, but that that seems ludicrous to me.
Yeah, I refuse to try and even attempt to understand that way of thinking about video games.
But then so I remember when I was a kid playing games, I'd hate it when I had to watch someone else play a game.
Yeah, why would you? Why? I hated waiting, and that's when there was like, there was 4 controllers then, on the same thing.
Yeah.
You had to wait your turn, or there just wasn't. There was 5 of you, so someone had to. And it was like, oh man, just waiting that one turn was just too much.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's it. But I remember my brother used to. He didn't mind watching.
Really?
Yeah, I was always like, this is a good deal for me.
Yeah.
Whatever. if that floats your boat.
Yeah, my friend actually, the same one who had the Dreamcast. He watches me play games now, and I'm like, why would you? What's wrong with you?
That's it. Maybe that's what we need to do. Game stream jam.
Yeah.
This is what we need to get on.
Yeah, game jam for those.
Yeah.
For the real old schoolers.
Yeah.
No, game jam is.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But yeah, so you'd played Shenmue.
I played a little bit of Shenmue. Yeah, not loads, but I'd played enough to sort of get a feel for it.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah, I really liked it. It was, I don't know, it was like a next level GTA thing for me. Even though, I think GTA, I don't know when did this come out? I don't know where that is in the spectrum of things, but this felt more like in the type of open world sandbox game I was thinking games would evolve into. Mainly because of just the amount of downtime you had to not necessarily.
Because you would do something and then you would do a mission and then you had to wait until a certain time. So you just go around like collecting Sonic toys from the little ball machine and and playing on like they had little arcade games in it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I used to love this game. I don't know as I actually got very far on it, to be honest. Just because I was too busy trying to collect stuff. It's definitely. I mean, I've played it since. I struggle to play it now.
Yeah.
I guess because games have changed, evolved, and me with them to just a different wavelength. Too slow for me now.
Right.
But some people still love it.
Yeah.
And I love the property. Got fond memories. So we're there. We've both got a preconception of Shenmue.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. Okay, so I haven't got any Rotten Tomatoes reviews, unfortunately, but we've got an IMDb rating as always. So what do you think the series has on IMDb?
I'm gonna go 7.3 on IMDb. Okay,
7.3. Okay, well, I can tell you there's 249 reviews, so quite low.
Yeah.
But we do tend to find that with the few animes we've done, they don't always have a high number of reviews. But it has a score of 8.2.
Wow, 8.2.
Pretty high.
That is good. Yeah.
So yeah, I imagine that's probably the number of Shenmue fans.
Yeah.
249 probably seems about a reasonable number.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 8.2.
No.
Average Shenmue fans, 8.2.
But I'm with you guys.
Yeah, that's it. We're in there.
We're in this together. So yeah, okay. So pretty high rating though on IMDb.
Yeah. The fans love it.
No low rating there.
That's it.
Especially when we can remember that Blade Runner was shoddy.
Oh yeah.
On IMDb as well. So it's not just, a unique crowd. Okay, so what about Twitter? What's Twitter got to say about Shenmue?
Yeah, seemed pretty happy. I mean, our first tweet is from someone called Shenmue Forever.
Oh man.
So, there you go.
Preach.
Look at that. I mean, your whole Twitter handle is Shenmue Forever.
Yes.
There you go. That's the type of fans this game has. They say, Shenmue the Animation's art direction is out of this world. 2 hearts.
Oh, yes. To be fair, though, I mean, particularly, sort of the backgrounds and the environments.
Yeah.
They look really good.
Very nice. Yeah.
That's something I noticed straight off the bat. The places look like it's like oil paintings.
Yeah, yeah. Really nice.
Really nice.
And for those, for the hardcore Shenmue fans, most of you probably will notice as well that there are some side-by-side comparison shots from the game. So there's moments that literally look like the scenes from the game that they've obviously gone to a lot of effort to make sure that it looks like that. So
yeah,
good solid art direction there.
Yeah. Well, that's it, because I've not played it in properly in a long time.
Yeah.
But as even me with my foggy memory of it.
Yeah.
Record a lot of the places like, oh yes, I remember this.
There you go.
Brought a lot of moments back just visually.
Yeah. Yeah, top-notch stuff from these guys. We've got S Collins 152 who says, "I've waited 20 years for this and it was perfect. First episode about had me in tears. Everything I hoped for."
This is a Dreamcast character right here. The S probably stands for Shenmue as well.
Shenmue Collins, yeah.
Yeah.
152.
What a hero.
Yeah, just never put their Dreamcast down.
No.
Just absolutely.
And they have Dreamcast of this for 20 years.
Oh yeah, 20 years.
They cast a dream 20 years ago.
Yeah. And
it came true.
Dreams do come true. Yeah. But if you don't have a dream cast, then your dreams can't come true. That's how the song goes.
Still the case.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that is a happy fan right there.
Yeah.
Like, almost, if nobody else likes the show, right, and they've paid a lot of money to make this, people have probably worked tiresome hours, maybe just that alone was worth it. Just that one person who's like, this was awesome.
They're like Shenmue forever.
Yeah.
That's all they have to say.
Yeah. So that is a positive review. We also have Nice Dreams, who says, "They've done a great job with the anime, but the story is still too rushed."
Oh.
So.
Well, there you go. So we've got our first niggle with the show.
I mean, I think it's like they're happy with what is going on, but they know what's wrong with it, and they keyed into it there. Story.
And I think, do you know what? It's an interesting point, because if you're a fan of the game as well, the pace in the game is, as we just said, it's very slow.
So slow, yeah.
It's really slow. So it does. That's kind of something you kind of notice, is that the story rushes along quite a lot. In the first episode, you get like the full intro. It's probably 7 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, yeah.
But in reality, I think it does help push it along quite a bit. And you can't have that in a show, like all those moments where. Imagine
though, that'd be revolutionary if it was like everything we saw in this episode. They did 7 hours of episodes. What a show that'd be! Just all of him just wandering through alleyways.
Oh man, just like one whole episode devoted to him feeding a kitten.
Yeah, people. I mean, that's a game changer. So maybe next time. Maybe in the remake.
Season 2.
Yeah. And then finally we have Lost Thief, who says, "So far, the best thing about the Shenmue anime is the sheer frequency with which Ryo encounters 80s movie bad guys. At least 4 different teams of them in 2.5 episodes."
And that's because of that pace, to be fair.
Yeah.
It is actually set in the 80s. Which I never really realised.
No, I definitely didn't as a kid either. I thought it was just current, I thought it was just like, this is what Japan looks like right now in some place. Which, I mean, I guess it still kind of does if the research team went there to check it out. So I don't know how much is preserved. But that it immediately brought back some stuff for me as well, because I do remember that happening a lot in the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that it helps push the game along a little bit. It gives you a little fight, and the QTEs in the game were just off the charts. I'm
going to be perfectly honest. There was the moment when there was an encounter in this. I glanced down at my controller because I was like, "Oh no, QTE is coming up. I need to pick this up." And then I was like, "No, this is an anime."
Because and as well, like that shows you played it, because in the game, it would take you off guard.
Yeah. And
you would end up missing buttons all the time because you were too busy just like vegging out to it.
Yeah, that was like PTSD from QTEs. Like, I need a controller in my hand.
Yeah. Again, why the pacing, I guess, needed to be quicker.
Yeah. Because you're so used to just like not doing anything.
Yeah. Just talking to forklift drivers non-stop. Then one of them decides to fight you and you're like, whoa, I'm unprepared.
Yeah. So yeah, great point there. Great point from last Steve. But yeah, that's all from Twitter. So
okay, wow. Okay then. That's so generally good points, some fair points as well. But nothing I would say overly negative.
No, still pretty happy about Shenmue.
A nice response there. Okay, well, I mean, straight away we've played the game and stuff. Did it kind of ring true for you? Obviously the scenarios we've talked about, the background and stuff, but what about the feel of it? Did you feel like it felt the same as Shenmue?
Yeah, oddly, I think it did have. I mean, obviously, it was a lot quicker pacing wise, because from the few memories that I do have, it's bumping into people that want to fight you in down alleyways. It's doing aimless tasks and walking to and fro from places, and then just that's pretty much the core memories of this game that I have.
Yeah.
So there was scenes of him walking. There were scenes of him. Bumping into folk that clearly wanted to brawl. And I remember not really knowing what the show was about. And I think this episode did that. I didn't really, I had no clue what was going on at any given moment, really.
Yeah.
Especially what the general story is. So perplexed about that. What
the whole backstory? So it starts off in a cave, doesn't it? Like with these big giant discs. But yeah, I think it definitely it did make me realize that as well. Watching it, like, I don't actually know what Shenmue's about.
What is Shenmue?
Like, I thought it was just collecting toys and feeding cats, but there is obviously a story to it. And because obviously you see all these characters that you've seen in the start of the game.
Yeah.
But back then you kind of just accepted whatever was thrown at you in a game.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a product of the time or just a product of being young when you've played it. But weirdly, I liked that. Yeah. Like, it was kind of like, what is going on?
yeah, that's the feel that I had. It was like, it did bring that back. Like, I had no clue what's happening, but it's this pretty pleasant town. It seems pretty nice. This guy clearly knows his way around a good kick, so that's good. Those feelings it definitely did bring back. Yeah,
it has as well. Do you find as a series it has some real stereotypical anime moments?
Oh yeah,
where the voice just is like fitting in the oddest way. And the stuff they do just doesn't seem to fit in with the surrounding. I'm thinking majorly the hot dog guy.
Oh yeah, the hot dog guy.
So he's from the game, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
I vaguely remember him, but where you see him the first time in the show, and he's just like goes up to some people eating a hot dog and just is dancing.
Yeah, why is he dancing?
I don't know, but I loved it.
Yeah,
I wanted more of that.
It does feel like one of those Sega games where you're like, I don't know what these guys, like, they're just a real view of the world.
He's like like, you know, really happy-go-lucky doing this like really sort of slow dance, and in the background there's like some sort of electric guitar riff that doesn't fit him or the situation at all.
Yeah.
That is a true Sega game right there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's genius, really, because everything that you're like, this is weird, feels right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's only so many things that could do that, and this is one of them. Yeah, there was lots of moments, especially with dialogue and stuff, where I was like, that was so bizarre. Like it, you know, like there was a translation error in there, but I don't think there was. Like that's how it was meant to be. Like the way people reacted, like the karate guys and stuff, like they were all so.
One of them was crying.
Yeah, it's so strange
because he's dropped his ice cream.
Like,
I do remember those nonsensical moments in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's full on guy, like grown man crying because of his ice cream, and then just like, you know, randomly starts a fight encounter with like female passerby for no particular reason as well. And then there's all this stuff with you know, Ryo's dad and like a mirror under a tree or something that's going on that we never actually see. I don't know if it's a metaphorical mirror or not at this point, but
no, I think it's a real thing,
an actual mirror, right?
Some sort, yeah.
Yeah, and then some guy in a Jade outfit that's got a real beef. He also is driven around in some sort of black car that apparently, like, I don't know, I think his driver was maybe like drunk because they just managed to like smash their way through the town on the way back to the point that the hot dog guy couldn't even sell his hot dogs the next day. So yeah, it's just events that definitely seem like they're from a video game were in there. It, you know, and that really did feel authentic. As far as it being a show that you watch, felt strange. To say
and you know what? It's almost like you can kind of, having played the game, you love those moments. But then if you hadn't played the game, you can see. I mean, you can see who the show's audience are, I suppose. It's directed completely at people that have played it, which I suppose is fair enough. Yeah, because I mean, why not? Yeah. Why would you don't need to make it for the general public? Like it's clearly like major fan service, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And to be honest, like, and it just, there's so much nostalgia in it. And it just, and I think it helps that I'd not seen it in ages, because it's you know, when you've forgotten something, you're like, oh gosh, yeah, I completely forgot this bit of the game and this and that, and I think there's a charm to it, in, you know, that almost stereotypical sort of anime Sega game vibe of just pure nonsense. It's like it's surreal, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But it for some reason works quite nicely.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, a time before games were like, you know, movies, like that everything, you know, it's just, it does just give you a nostalgia trip of just like, remember when you just put a game on and it was just whatever it is, you know, it didn't have to be like an epic, or it didn't, you know, or you didn't have to be super competitive around it. It was just like, this is a weird experience you're gonna have, and here you go, sort of thing.
Like, it's like there was so much less to be bothered about in a game. It was just like, do I enjoy playing it? That's the end of it. Rather than like, how serious is it? Is the acting any good? Is this that? Because none of it was very good. And you're like, no. So
that wasn't a concern.
It's like, is the acting good? Well, it's a game, so what do you think?
It's so unique in that way, in the fact that it's definitely, its fan base will be like, this is perfect. But I think if you're an outsider and you stumble across this and you watch an episode, you are going to be puzzled. I think that it's not going to make I mean, it made no sense to me because I clearly didn't play enough of the game to actually find out what Shenmue was even about. But yeah, this was, yeah, it was a trip again, just into that little sleepy town where odd things happen and odd characters.
But I think, I mean, as nonsensical as it might seem instantly, it doesn't. It feels like if you watch more, you will find out.
Yeah. There's definitely more coming. But
it's not just, you know. I think a lot of what we're saying is it just feels like a surreal thing where everything happens and you don't understand why. There's a certain level of intrigue to it as well.
Yeah. There's, you know, it's a series. We didn't watch all of it. We watched the first one. But yeah, as far as episodes 1 go, this is definitely one of the most puzzling out there. This is I couldn't even estimate what the outcome may be at this point.
Yeah,
really don't know. But it was funny. You know, maybe I liked it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely laughing at it a couple of times.
Yeah.
So,
and do you know what? That's the chart, and that's I think that's almost your right as someone that's played the games back in the day, because it does. Sometimes it makes you laugh because you remember that as well, like that weird bald guy.
Yeah.
I'd completely forgot about him, and it's just he's there like creeping around on a ceiling, or like on a roof, I should say, and it's just like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And you completely forgot he existed. It's terrible voice acting. But it makes like if they'd have got, you know, if they'd have done it as a better voice, you'd have lost the joy of remembering that moment.
Yeah, but he was back. Yeah. And it's it made me laugh as well how, like, the story is that like Rio had trained with his father for all these years and just never bothered to pay attention. It's not until he's in the middle of a fight with weird old guy that he's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
And proceeds to just whoop him to the point that he just boots him out of the dojo.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. But that's a real video game moment, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you press A and D together, you're the boss now. Yeah,
that's it. Okay, well, I think we've talked enough about it. Let's move on. Let's give our reviews. Maybe I should go to Tommy's. Hey man, it's me, Tommy. Tommy. Check out my dance moves. Oh boy, this is really good. Hey, you want a hot dog? Would you like mustard with that? Oh boy. Hey, watch out for black cars bumping into things. Whoa. Hi, Tommy. Can I please have a hot dog? Hey, Leo, nice Steve. This one's on the house. Hey, son, I love that. Sure, watch out for my moves. I'm dancing right on. Here, have some milk, kitty. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If you've never played one, go and get one now.
Yeah.
Thumbs down, your disappointment when you played the Dreamcast now. You never played it before, so you haven't got the nostalgia effect. You missed the boat, man.
I'm sorry.
Dearie me. And shaky middle. You know, the fact that some of you didn't get a Dreamcast, just what's all that about? Okay, so good, bad, shaky middle. Come on, it's pretty straightforward. You know, guys, you know.
Yeah. So
Shenmue, episode 1. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Shenmue is a strange animal, and I think this, you know, the show showed that. You know, it definitely leaned into what Shenmue is, and yeah, it does have really nice setting. You know, The animation looks nice. The art is great. Got some real nice just shots of the streets and stuff, which is the type of stuff you appreciate when you played a game that had that pacing. You know, you're just looking around like, oh, this is a cool view. Oh, this is a nice street. And yeah, the sort of zany characters that came along with it, as well as just Rio being kind of nonplussed about life in general to kind of counteract that. I thought, you know, it carried through all the way through. But I think, yeah, as an actual show, I think people, I mean, obviously outsiders are going to struggle with this because it's definitely maybe not what you'd expect going in. And the story, you clearly need to watch more than one episode to understand what is happening, because I had no clue. And, you know, I did play some of the game. So we don't know. That's still up for grabs. You know, there's some action, there's some comedy, there's some drama, you know, some real drama, some family drama. So, you know, there is a bit of stuff in there for everyone. But I think it's just such a bizarro kind of show based on a bizarro game, really, that you know, there's something there that if you don't have the nostalgia for it, or if you just don't appreciate the abstract, then I don't think you're going to get on with it. So I think for me, it's going to be a straight shaky middle for me on this one.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's very Shenmue, but you take that away, and I don't know what is left behind as an anime show. Something odd, to say the least.
Yeah.
So yeah, shaky middle.
Yeah, it definitely does. I agree. It has that kind of strange oddness, but I couldn't help but love that about it as well. It was just exactly like, and I can see, you know, the Twitter comments. If you were a big fan of Shenmue or are a big fan, it's going to tick all your boxes in so many ways, and it's going to be something that's well exciting. I think it's funny because it kind of makes you realise, like, obviously it's a lot bigger in sort of Eastern markets than it is over here, because I think that's the reason, you know, it's getting its own animated series. So as a fan, it's quite nice because, you know, there's not many, there's enough people, but it's not something that, if based on a Western market, it would never get an animated series, I don't think.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have that, because then, you know, stuff is going to get made of it. And it's just like, oh, wow, yes, I love that. And I love that about it. I love that it's got sort of this weird, strange storyline that I never knew when I was playing it, really.
Yeah.
Because there's all that side stuff, I just didn't know. All I remember is the collecting, you know, feeding the cats, and loads of people in forklifts, and just walking around streets and stuff. I like that they've added all those elements, and it feels like, you know, they've really added everything they can to make it, you know, great for the fans of Shenmue. So I personally, I'm gonna be thumbs up. I did really enjoy watching it. I do think it's a bit, the story's a bit here and there, but I think there's enough of it for you to watch it and be like, okay, what's next? Even if you hadn't played the games, you get an intro, and it was as wacky before, and people have sort of jumped on for less. So yeah, as you know, first episode. I mean, maybe if you don't find out, maybe if you still don't understand what's going on by the end of it, it would change. But I think, yeah, a thumbs up.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I think, you know, I'm glad people make this type of stuff. Like, imagine coming up with a concept where there's some sort of, I guess, like mystical stuff with some sort of bizarre powers, but being like, but what I really want people to mainly spend their time doing is just feeding cats and playing on arcade machines. Yeah, like, what a story to tell. I'm glad somebody decided to tell that stuff. So,
yeah, it's astonishing, really, isn't it, that it's out there, but how glad you are of it.
Yeah.
And it's just something different.
Yeah.
In the fact that it's something normal.
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there you go. And up in the middle, that's pretty good.
That is good. Yeah.
That's a good score. And, you know, like I say, Blade Runner, we weren't impressed.
No.
So this is better the Adult Swim Crunchyroll combo has done better here.
Yeah.
But what did you think at home? Are you pro Shenmue like us? Have you played it before? Maybe you never had and you watched it and you thought, what? Let us know. You can do so on the 3 smashed up hot dog carts of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ToonJamPod. If you want to catch some of our old episodes, you can do so over on YouTube, again at ToonJamPod, and we've got loads of episodes up there as well, so check them out. You can get bonus episodes on our Patreon, and we also have a merchandise store, which is bit.ly/ToonJamShop, where you can get all sorts of wacky, nonsensical things, just like Shenmue, really.
Yeah.
But not Shenmue. You can't buy that on there, unfortunately.
No, we don't.
But wacky things nonetheless, t-shirts and the like. Anyway, I digress. So without any more to throw at you, I just want to say thank you so much for listening, and until next time, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.